Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today, still suffering from the flu, we are going to do this or that Halloween edition. Welcome, I'm the Midnight Raven, and I don't usually look like death warmed up, but we are going to still do some this or that. I have had to rearrange every video so far for Vlogtober due to having the flu, and I wanted to bring you some content, so you're gonna have to excuse the fact that I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Can't do anything about that, or the fact that I feel or look like shit. So today we're gonna do this or that. So it's a very simple premises. I'm going to pick some Halloween stuff off a website, and we're going to either suggest this or that. So we have done this a little bit. We've done one previous video with this or that. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show or Little Shop of Horrors. Ooh, Rocky Horror Picture Show or Little Shop of Horrors. They're both what I call Halloween goth musicals. Little Shop of Horrors is quite cool, you know. Little Shop. It's got that really upbeat kind of, 80s funky music. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is a bit more camp, a bit more dark, a little bit more creepy, and for me, it would have to be the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think the music's more catchy, the aesthetic is more better, and I think it's more of my kind of musical. What else do we got? Coraline or Casper? So Casper is a film about a little friendly ghost, and Coraline is about this little girl. I've only ever seen it once. I don't know much about Coraline. And I have watched Casper maybe once or twice. I personally would probably go for Coraline. Again, it's the more dark aesthetic, it's the music. I've only ever watched maybe both of them once. I think I've watched Casper maybe twice. Casper's more like a childish, younger group for younger children. Coraline, I would have said, is more like teenagers plus. For me, I think I would pick Coraline, if I'm really honest. What else have they got? Frankenweenie or the Haunted Mansion. Ooh, so Frankenweenie is a film, and it features like a Frankenstein dog that died and then was brought back to life. The Haunted House is about a haunted house. There's a bunch of kids. Again, going for the more dark aesthetic, the music for me. Frankenweenie is more my thing. I also believe it's Tim Burton, which again, more my thing. The Haunted House, it's a good movie. It's got some quirky bits, some funny kids. Again, the more dark, creepy aesthetic is just my personal favourite. Let's have a look. Ooh. The Sixth Sense or Carrie. So The Sixth Sense is about a film where a kid sees dead people, and Carrie, I haven't watched Carrie, but I know there's a scene in it, a monumental scene of where she's at a prom and they get blood dripped over her and thrown over her. I haven't seen Carrie before. I probably should have. I have seen The Sixth Sense where the kid says, "I see dead people," and the guy doesn't realise that he's dead. So for me, again, the more creepy, the more weird, the more unusual, gotta be The Sixth Sense. The Scream franchise or the Halloween franchise? So the Scream franchise uses Bloodyface, the guy with the weird mask. A bunch of people get killed. Halloween is the most drawn out Halloween series in the history of the world. There's like, I don't know, 13 movies. If you haven't seen Halloween, you probably lived under a rock, or at least in one of their movies. For me, the Halloween series should have died long ago. It's just dragging it on now. I mean, as much as everybody loves Mike Myers, it just needs to die. Sorry, Michael Myers, it needs to die. Just stop. So for that, I'm gonna go for the Scream series. It's tongue in cheek, it's funny, but the Halloween series, you know, sometimes it's good to let a franchise just die with some dignity and not drag it out. But you know, oh, would you rather be out treating, or would you rather be handing candy out? So I never was a big fan of going trick or treating. I loved the idea of decorating a house when I was younger and giving candy out to people. I just have a really kind-hearted nature. I also like the fact that I used to get lots of comments about how the houses were decorated. I live in a flat now, so unfortunately I don't get trick-or-treaters, which sucks because I would make such an effort. I've made such an effort. You haven't seen my Halloween decorations yet, but you will do. I've just been too sick to do a really long form content video. So for me, I personally would just love to give out the candy. I like to see the look on the kids' faces, and I also like to scare the shit out of them. Gory makeup or spooky makeup? Now, the spooky makeup, I guess, would be something like a skeleton, paint a white face, the whole ghosty thing. Gory makeup, we're talking like maybe Dracula blood, maybe scars, cuts, bruises. Other cutesy makeup, I guess you could do yourself as a fairy. Um, Spooky makeup, maybe a mummy, but then a mummy can also be gory. I think if I was gonna go and like paint myself for Halloween, I think you have to go hard or go home. So I'd go for the full gore. You know, maybe a corpse bride with some blood smeared on me, a blood smeared dress, that kind of thing. If you're gonna go and dress up for Halloween and you're gonna do the whole gore stuff, you're gonna have to go like hard. The dress, the clothes, the makeup. You're gonna have to nail that look. Where else are we going? Ooh, Gummy bears or jelly beans? I'm not a big fan of jelly beans. I'm not really a fan of gummy bears. I prefer chocolate for Halloween, like Hershey's, Cadbury's. But I guess if I have to pick, gummies, Skittles or M&Ms. Ooh, see, I don't mind M&Ms, but obviously I'm allergic to nuts, so M&Ms becomes really hard. Skittles are quite chewy. I think I'd have to go for Skittles just because some M&Ms contain nuts, and it makes it really difficult for me because I am allergic to nuts. Ooh, Hershey's Kisses or Twix in your candy. Hershey's Kisses. I've only had them like once. I think I'd pick a Twix. I love a caramel scented, whether it's like Cadbury's caramel, stuff like that. I'd go for Cadbury's. So I think I'd go for a Twix. I mean, Hershey's Kisses are okay, but I think a Twix. Ooh, what else we got? So we've done the candy. Watch Twilight or the Vampire Diaries for Halloween. Oh God. I hate the Twilight series. I absolutely hate it. I think it did nothing for vampires, goths, werewolves. I think it was just lame. I've only seen a couple of episodes of the Vampire Diaries, but I have heard it's really good. I think I'd go for Vampire Diaries. Twilight's a bit naff for me. I'm sorry, but it's just naff. Just naff. Would you rather spend the night in a haunted house or a cabin in the woods? Ooh, okay. Haunted house, cabin in the woods. So a haunted house, you're gonna have some spooky, some ghosties, maybe some paranormal shit. A cabin in the woods, you're in the middle of nowhere. To be fair, the haunted house can be in the middle of nowhere. Usually when you do these horror films, they're in the middle of a nowhere, on a hillside, with some thunder and lightning in the background, like, oh yeah, and then it rains, of course. Cabin in the wood, you know, it's usually a bunch of teenagers go in there to get brutally murdered. Everything's alright, they're either smoking, drinking, promiscuous activity, and then they get brutally murdered. I think I might take the castle, the haunted house. I think you have more chance of surviving if you're in a haunted house, to be fair. Do you buy your costumes or do you make them? Back in the day when I was younger, we quite enjoyed making costumes of what we had. Nowadays, you just go out and buy costumes. I don't think a lot of kids put much effort into dressing up nowadays. It's all store bought. Back in the day, you'd be there with your cardboard books, your toilet rolls, trying to make your kid into a robot or cutting some holes in some sheets. Nowadays it's just Amazon your clothes overnight, which does take it off a bit, It does, takes a bit of the fun, I would say, from the activities. Um, but things nowadays, people aren't really like, wanting to like make and do stuff. Would you rather have a hayride or go to a pumpkin patch? Not a big fan of pumpkins, must admit. I'll buy pumpkins for my kids and stuff, but I've never been on a hayride. Basically, you jump on the back of like some hay bales in the back of like a lowrider truck or something and have a ride. I think I'd have the hayride. I'm not a big fan of pumpkins. Although the photo opportunities for both of them would be quite good if you're looking for like Instagram and that. A lot of people do go to pumpkin patches and that just for pictures. Would you rather bob for apples or carve pumpkins? Personally, I'd rather bob for apples. Again, not a big fan of pumpkins. The smell, the seeds. Bobbing for apples is quite fun. As long as you don't have razor blades in them, like they used to mess around with. I don't know whose idea it was back in the day that thought the razor blades in apples was quite fun, but there's something wrong with people. Something wrong with people. Ooh, candy apples or caramel apples. So, if you go to someone like Tesco's and that, they have some apples, they cover them in chocolate and then they'll either stick marshmallows on them, cookie crumb. My son had an apple the other day that was like a rocky road. It had marshmallows and chocolate. Or you get candy ones that have had the candy all drizzled, candy drizzled, caramel drizzled all over them. Or they have ones that have been like rolled in some crumble stuff, like kind of like apple crumble. I actually like mine in chocolate and then rolled in sprinkles, personally. So, a candy apple or caramel. I think I'd have to go for the candy. I would love it with chocolate and sprinkles, but we can't just be, can't just be picky. Would you rather drink spiced latte pumpkin or pumpkin spice latte or apple cider? Now, I don't like anything that's like pumpkin flavored. I'm not a pumpkin spice latte girl that like running out to get everything pumpkin spice flavored. I don't like the taste of pumpkin or the smell. And drinking apple cider, I'm not a cider fan. I couldn't pick either. My best thing to drink in the cold season or around Halloween is hot chocolate. I'm a hot chocolate girl through and through. Marshmallows, cream, gimme, gimme, gimme. Would you rather dress as a scary costume or a pop culture costume? So this is either dressing as something typically scary, a skeleton, a witch, the usual Dracula, or dress as pop culture. So maybe dressing as Britney Spears, Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, maybe dressing as P. Diddy. He's a bit controversial at the minute. Me personally, Halloween is for scaring, so you got to go scary. If you want to dress up as like pop culture stuff, do it at a fancy dress party. But Halloween, keep it spooky, keep it scary. It doesn't have to be traditional scary. You could do something like a corpse bride. You could do something a bit more obscure. You could do the Flying Dutchman, something like that. Do something different. Scary but different. But yeah, it'd have to be scary. I mean, you couldn't not do scary for Halloween, or could you? I mean, I personally wouldn't. You know. What else have we got? Let's see if we can get one more. Would you rather watch The Nightmare Before Christmas or The Corpse Bride for Halloween? Ooh, last question. Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride? Now, they're both amazing films. I watch them every year for Halloween anyway. The Nightmare Before Christmas, you can watch at Christmas. It doesn't make a difference to me. I will always say it's a Halloween movie. Other people will beg to differ. Corpse Bride is a really cute little film, but it doesn't necessarily have to be watched at Halloween, I don't think. I don't feel it's necessarily a Halloween story. Yes, it features skeletons and the undead, but I think you could watch it all year round. Nightmare Before Christmas is more predominantly Halloween because you have the Pumpkin King in it. Corpse Bride has a dark aesthetic, has the underworld, but it's not necessarily a Halloween movie. So you theoretically could watch that all year round. So for me, it would have to be The Nightmare Before Christmas because of it being more of a Halloween film, and then The Corpse Bride I could watch all year round. If you want to watch Nightmare Before Christmas at Christmas time, it features Christmas as well. I'm not one of these people that's going to go, oh no, it's definitely a Halloween film. I mean, I personally think it's a Halloween film, and I would rather watch it at Halloween. There are other things I would rather watch at Christmas that are more Christmas orientated. Although Nightmare Before Christmas features Christmas, for me, it is a Halloween film, and for that reason, Corpse Bride I can watch anytime. So I would pick The Nightmare Before Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was just a little this or that. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm sorry it wasn't most the exciting video in the whole universe, but I have the flu. I've been having hospital appointments this week. I've had a lot on with me and my son, and I've just been really sick. So if you want to help support the channel this Halloween with a PayPal super chat or super thanks, if you want to become a member as well, I do put videos to members only. If you want to see me elsewhere, you have TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to see me on YouTube, make sure you click that notification bell. We have more coming up in the next week. We have a Halloween tier list. We have more Halloween symbols. We have another Halloween Q&A. And we are also going to take a jaunt around some graveyards. But as I am currently sick, that has been put on hiatus, going to the graveyard until I can physically go. At the minute, I am spending half the day in bed and half the other day taking my time to eat, drink, and try and get better. But I will see you all very soon. If I don't see you before then, have a wonderful Halloween, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, guys.